Okay. Hi, I'm so excited. I have so much to share. This video is late, but it's right on time. Today is Wednesday, January 28th, 2026. I am in the middle of week 5, but I'm also finishing up week 4, which I finished tonight. I'm so happy. First, I want to say that I cannot believe that I am on week 4. As somebody with ADHD, it is so hard to complete anything. And starting this book during this time of my life shows me that I am ready to commit to the things that are in alignment with how I feel inside. And guess what? That is what integrity means. This week, Julia, girl, you did your big one on this one. We are talking about recovering a sense of integrity. I don't know about you, but I didn't know what integrity meant. And what I find interesting is that integrity and integrate both have the same root word, which come from the Latin word entregar. And to integrate means to bring all parts together to create a whole. And integrity means that your truth within is in alignment with your behaviors without. Interesting, no? This chapter was it was snatched. So Julia talks about honest changes, and she talks about how the morning pages really allow us to face what we really feel, not what we tell people how we feel. And that's really just talking about alignment. I didn't get it. I didn't get it at first. She labels it honest changes because to be honest is to be authentic, and to be authentic is to live with integrity. That's a really important lesson. She has us do a buried dream exercise so that we can remember what we truly loved, what we truly liked, and really get in touch with our true feelings. And I thought that was cool. Then she wanted us to do reading deprivation. And I realized that she wanted us to do reading deprivation because this chapter is about introspection. It's about getting honest with yourself, sitting with yourself, asking yourself those hard questions so that you can be in alignment, so that how you truly feel can start matching your outer world. How many days this week did you do your morning pages? Tantrums often show up as skipping the morning pages. I did my morning pages 4 out of 7 days this week, a lot less than week 3. This week, I had a crisis that I was trying to resolve, so my mind was really scattered all over the place. I found out a lot of stuff about myself, and I really got intimate with the word integrity. Doing the morning pages is wonderful. I feel that it is working. I feel that my mind is clearer. I feel that I'm able to be more creative and come up with different jokes. I observed this week that when I am in crisis, when I'm trying to overcome something, when I'm deep in stress, that is a blockage for my creativity. What I'm learning to do is to ask the right people for help before things turn into a crisis. And that's very hard with ADHD and also being hyper independent, but it's something that I practice. I did do my artist date on Saturday. It was so much fun. And I really needed my artist date because it was such a stressful week. I went on a sushi date. I got grocery store sushi, and I ended up going to Five Below, and I forgot how fun Five Below is. And they have a section that's called Play and Create, and they had so many different things. And I was there for about an hour, and I turned my artist date into a vlog. It was just fun playing with the different things, looking at the sunglasses, looking at the different arts and crafts, the books. I got so many ideas for artist dates, so many activities I could do. I was like, this was great. It was a great experience. So overall, it was like a really long artist date. I made it up for my artist because last week I couldn't do an artist date. When I got home, I ended up watching SpongeBob. Since I have a unique childhood where I was a part of Child Protective Services, a lot of the experiences that my peers have in my age group, I don't share that with them. So I have a lot of catching up to do. And SpongeBob is one of those things that is a part of many generations. It was so much fun. So much fun. Did you experience synchronicity this week? How does Julia define synchronicity? Let's take a look. Julia introduced synchronicity to us in chapter 3. I'm going to read this paragraph. All too often, when people talk about creative work, they emphasize strategy. Neophytes are advised of the Machiavellian devices they must employ to break into the field. I think this is a lot of rubbish. If you ask an artist how he got where he is, he will not describe breaking in, but instead will talk of a series of lucky breaks, 1,000 unseen helping hands. Joseph Campbell calls these breaks, I call them synchronicity. So let me tell y'all what happened this week. Whew, it's embarrassing, but one day I'm gonna look back on this and I'll be like, girl, you made it out of poverty. You broke out of the prison of poverty. You did it yourself and you found community along the way. It was hard, but you did it. So this story is my testimony. I had to sell plasma to save my storage unit. What was hard about that is that my body was already feeling very depleted, very exhausted, because I'm in recovery from 3 years of crisis, from 3 years of extreme hardship. I'm overcoming an assault. There's just a lot of things that I'm recovering from. And I'm finally in my own place and trying to enjoy that. And my body is just kind of like, no more. You're tired, you're exhausted, you're dehydrated, no more. So whenever I give plasma, it's like a 2 to 3 day recovery period. I was standing in the plasma center while the storage place was trying to get in contact with me to say, hey, you need to make a payment. You need to make a payment. And I said, look, I'm doing the best I can. I'm literally here trying to sell plasma so that I can pay this storage unit. And they said, you only have 2 options. We cannot take partial payments anymore. So you either pay $250 and then evacuate, or you abandon all your items. And I literally surrendered to God in that moment. And I said, hey, my back's up against the wall. Money isn't gonna come from the ceiling. I'm not gonna have all the money. I'm only gonna have about 150 when I leave this. It's too much to hold. I'm not gonna be able to do this. And this was 1 week ago today, because we're in week 5. So 7 days ago, last Wednesday, I'm just in this place of radical acceptance, but also very upset and very sad because my entire life is in my storage unit. My entire life. And I can't get the things out of my storage unit because I don't have enough money to get them out. So even though I have an apartment, I don't have all my stuff. That's how poverty works. Sometimes you got to make sacrifices. So I go to peer support group and I vent and I let it out and I literally release everything. I say, I'm just going to abandon my stuff. The next morning, something, I think it was God, wakes me up around 5 o'clock in the morning. The U-Haul manager messaged me and said, hey, why don't we do this? I can give you a one-time courtesy where I wipe your previous balance and we start fresh on February 1st. Something spoke to that man's heart. Something out of my control shifted to my benefit and all my stuff is secured. And I'm back on track because I have enough money to make the regular monthly payments. And that was a form of synchronicity. Something else that happened. There was this dog here in the building who got lost. I guess he snuck out of his owner's house and the dog scratched on my door and looked at me and then was barking and then ran into my apartment and ran back out and was crying. And I was like, what's wrong, little doggy? So I helped the dog find their owner. And then the owner, in gratitude, gave me a TV. What? And I've been needing a TV. Then there were other things that were synchronicity that weren't material gains. And it was me just realizing and understanding what integrity really is. And because I understand integrity to be alignment, I had to let go of a lot of different things. And the things that I had to let go of were incompatible with how I want to live my life. And they were also incompatible relationships where we had competing needs. And that to me is synchronicity, because in order for me to flourish, for any artist to flourish, what I'm understanding is we have to shed a lot of stuff. And the timing of me letting go and me learning what incompatibility means, and me learning that when you have to explain yourself over and over, that's you trying to force somebody to understand you. And when you're trying to force somebody to understand you, that's you begging. And when you're begging, that's self-betrayal. Begging is not in alignment. Begging is not living in integrity. Mind blown. My mind is blown. I went back to the gym this week too, during week 5. And it has just been a really, really good week with more breakthroughs. And the word of the year is audacity, right? Because Julia Cameron says that often it is not talent, but audacity that takes an artist far. But the word of my life from now on is integrity. I am committed to living a life of integrity, no matter what. Even if I come off cringe, even if it comes off stubborn, even if people don't like it. From this day forth, I'm living in authenticity, and I'm only going to be dealing with people, places, and things that are in alignment with my inner truth. So yeah, this week was really dope. The last question on it was if there's anything that came up for us. The only hard part for me was the fact that crisis came up, and that's an artist block. So I need to manage that. I need to manage being able to ask the right people at the right time for support before something becomes a crisis, and really prioritizing my stability, because in order for me to flourish and for me to have creative space in my mind, I need to not be stressed out. Stress occupies too much energy, too much mind space, too much heart space. So yeah, let's talk about the reading deprivation. I didn't do it. The reason why I didn't do it is I just wasn't committed to it, but I did get the benefits of it. And let me read to you what I wrote about the reading deprivation. Okay, here we go. So I broke reading deprivation on day 1. I wasn't fully committed in the practice, largely because reading is woven into nearly everything I do, honey child. From text to emails to my own writing, and it would have required a level of intentionality I didn't have the capacity for this week. And that's okay. I'm practicing compassion with myself. At least I got the benefits of introspection, and I did a lot of good work. I did 6 out of the 10 tasks this week. I went on my artist date, and I did morning pages, all while trying to manage a crisis, and I had to handle interpersonal conflict. Plus, I started at the gym. This week, if I have to say so myself, was pretty damn good. So, is there anything else? I did my artist prayer. I'm excited for week 5.